All of my hopes and dreams of starting a practice were almost crushed by one number, the dentist to population ratio. All of the analysts told me in my town that ratio was awful and I would never succeed. But in year one, we did over $1 million in revenue and continued to be successful. Let me help you decide what the perfect practice location is, and I'll tell you what the analysts won't. I remember the night clearly. My laptop was open, my wife was sitting nearby. We had just spent months and months praying, thinking, talking about the town that we wanted to move our family to raise our kids and for me to start my practice. I had just paid an analyst to do a demographics report and to consult me on the perfect place to open a practice from scratch. What he told me next made my gut sink. For a dentist to be successful in a town, they need about 1 to 2,000 for a dentist to population ratio. The town that you want to open in is 1 to 1,000. That ratio is a recipe for failure. He asked me, have you considered another town? Is there anywhere else you would want to move? I don't know if this is the best move for you and your family. Are you sure you want to practice here? You know what I heard? I heard, Chaz, I'm not sure that you're good enough to compete in a town that's this saturated. So this community, this neighborhood, this town in the Pacific Northwest that you've dreamed of living in, it may not be for you. Maybe think again. And this is the real fear that most dentists won't admit. What if I'm not good enough to open a successful practice in this town where me and my family actually want to live? Maybe I should go somewhere safer. Maybe I should settle. Maybe I should go somewhere that's less competitive, where that 1 to 2,000 ratio for dentist to population actually exists. I mean, I can always take weekend trips to the place that I actually enjoy being in. But let me tell you what the real crossroad is and what I actually saw. The villain in this situation is not competition. The villain is scarcity thinking by dentists. We're told to go somewhere safe, somewhere that's not oversaturated, somewhere with less competition. But then what happens? We're living in a place that we're not even excited to live in. Our spouse isn't excited. Our kids aren't excited to be in the community that they're in. And all of a sudden, you've built a life and a practice based on fear instead of vision. And that is the real danger. That 1 in 1,000 number sat in my head like a warning label. But let me tell you what the next consultant that I hired told me that changed everything. He said, Chaz, sure, there's competition, but what does competition mean? Competition means there's growth, there's high value on the services that are being provided, there's likely money, there's people that are moving in. It's nice to go to a place where there's a big population for the dentist ratio, but sometimes that sort of scarcity means there's stagnation. People aren't moving in. There's a reason why that ratio is so high. That 1 in 1,000 number, it wasn't a stop sign for me. It was a sign that I wanted to open in a thriving place. So let me tell you what I actually saw once I committed to opening in this town that had a bad dentist to population ratio. What I found was most of the dentists in this town didn't really need to do anything to stand out. They were sort of fat and happy, had plenty of patients. They didn't have an updated website. They weren't doing any marketing. They didn't really have the need to do a lot of branding, and they were usually pretty heavily dependent on PPO networks. This isn't to downgrade any of the dentists in my town that I find to be most of my close colleagues and friends. It's just that because there wasn't a huge need for them, it opened a window of opportunity for someone like me who was starting from scratch. I had no patience. I had no choice but to go out and market and build a good brand and build an ideal website and to get the latest technology. That window of opportunity was a recipe for no choice but to win. So I made a decision. If I'm going to open in this saturated market, I can't expect different results doing the same things as everybody else. So what did I do? We created an ideal website optimized to portray our vision and capture new clients. I recruited a team that bought into our focus, our vision, our story. We had a clear ideal client that we marketed to. We had clear messaging. But this did not happen by accident. Before we opened our doors, we had 80 patients ready to schedule at our office day one. Let me walk you through how we did that. We opened our startup practice on day one with 80 patients ready to schedule. These people were on our VIP list. One of the key strategies we used to get these 80 patients was using Mango Voice, and they have agreed to sponsor this video today. If we were going to compete in a saturated market, we had to act like a real startup from day one. That meant that we needed to be able to take calls and communication even months before we opened our doors. Mango Voice gave us that edge. Mango is a dental-specific communication software. They help thousands of practices improve their communication processes, and they were pivotal in the success of us opening our practice from scratch. We were able to secure a business phone number before we even opened, take calls, build a VIP list, direct people appropriately, and we looked legitimate even before our doors were open. They offer special startup packages to startup dentists where they don't even charge you before you launch, and they also help existing practices improve their communications. If you are looking to start up or even just upgrade your communication process in your practice, check them out. The link is below. Let's get back to our story. Opening day came. A brand new office in a saturated town. But what happened was, instead of fighting over scraps, we thrived. In year one, we did over $1 million in revenue. Now we do over $2 million in revenue while I take 10 weeks off a year. That 1 to 1,000 dentist to population ratio almost killed all of that. If you're choosing a practice location, stop asking, what's the dentist to population ratio? Is it saturated? Is it too competitive? Instead, ask better questions. Do I want to live here? Is the competition here really a barrier, or is it a window of opportunity for me to differentiate myself? Because competition is proof of demand, and a desire to live in a town provides momentum. That number of 1 to 1,000 in the town that I wanted to open in almost caused me to settle. But the real risk isn't competition. The real risk is shrinking my vision to match my fear. If you're looking to find the perfect practice location to either start up or acquire a practice, stay tuned. We're putting out videos every single week that are going to help provide you the leadership and the permission to go build the practice of your dreams in the location that you want to live in. Thanks for watching.